Chapter 2, Nymphus, the Divine Feminine, the Goddess Prudence. Enter the Nymphus, the bride. Her symbols are the bridal veil with diadem, a lamp, and a mirror. The bridal veil, so what veils? The lamp that helps us see. The diadem's a crown chakra, and we'll go into the mirror, how to clearly see what is present very shortly towards the end. Behold, sing, Nymphus, hail the new light. Behold, sing, Nymphus, hail the new light. Behold, sing, Nymphus, hail the new light. And in Latin, Eo Nymphus, salvete novelux, Eo Nymphus, salvete novelux, Eo Nymphus, salvete novelux, Eo Nymphus, salvete novelux. Nymphus, being of light, beloved by many, you dwell in mountains, forest grottos, springs or rivers, the wild lands are your home. Natura spiritus, so it's the spirits of nature. And here we have a feminine form here in the water. So we've got a water nymph. Okay, it's the feminine element of water. And you may say, well, why does it need to be gendered? But really it's a naming word to help us come in more closely with that feeling within and around us. Come into contact. So we can closely feel that in nature and within ourselves. Eo Nymphus, salvete novelux. Eo Nymphus, salvete novelux. Eo Nymphus, salvete novelux. So here we have some paintings by Waterhouse, showing those different aspects of the feminine energy in nature. We've got that kind of archetype of the spiritual maiden, the learned maiden. And rather than Aphrodite, what we've got with the nymphs is something that is contained, something that is, even though they can be very sensual, it is more this sort of spiritual, energetic form that is also very learned. They've got a wisdom to it. Sometimes in the past they've been seen as kind of these secondary goddesses, but really I see them more as something that is more intimately focused on nature. And the reason why they've got these sort of flowing robes is to sort of understand the energetic feel of them. Here I've included some of these little girls, and It's that childlike quality within us. Men have a divine feminine within them, just as women have a divine masculine energy as well. In the understanding of the absolute, that which has no separation, of course there is no gender, because that is a construct. But because we live in the relative world that has centuries of conditioning of what is masculine and feminine, it is helpful to have these naming words to help us come more closely into the radiant forms of these qualities. And on the right, what you see is wind. So the Nymphus of air got fire, earth, water, air. These are meditations to help us feel more embedded with nature, and also to help nature feel more alive and to show itself to us more readily. What we're saying is, nature, we want to become more interested in you in a meditative way. Okay, so water nymphs. Io Nymphus, salve te novelux. Io Nymphus, salve te novelux. Io Nymphus, salve te novelux. So we have mermaids. The feminine energy that can go into the deep waters, the lilies. There's a sort of a romantic quality to it of seduction, but it's more something that will seduce ourselves, something that is divinely intimate. It's not something to take us out of ourselves or away from ourselves, but actually to find ourselves more deeply embedded within ourselves, and through that become more closely related to what brings life to nature and in nature. This magical wonderland. And it goes from its water not just outside of ourselves, but when we imbibe it and we feel the watery depths within ourselves, the amount of fluid that we have in our bodies. We are nymphs of air, movement, incense. What passes through. Here we have the priestesses. Io Nymphus, salve te novelux. Io Nymphus, salve te novelux. Io Nymphus, salve te novelux. In the central figure, we have a priestess of Bacchus. They, in the past, wore a tiger skin, which was to show that Bacchus was an outsider. He came from the east, and there's the connection all the way through Tibet and then into India, where the archetype is seen in the god Shiva. It came all the way through into Europe and became Bacchus. Patron god of outsiders, but you can see there's a very protectress element here. So healers, Nymphus, Solvate and Novalux. Nymphus, being of light, beloved by many, you dwell in mountains, forests, grottos, springs or rivers. The wild lands are your home. Natura spiritus, natura spiritus, natura spiritus. Here we are, another priestess of Bacchus. The staff there was a fennel stalk, the ribbon tied around, and then you had the pine cone for fertility on the top. Okay, here we go. So some beautiful paintings showing this lovely Nymphus of air. When you see all these sort of flowing robes, it's this is the silken subtle body. So when the feeling of your body becomes very soft and petally. Sometimes you feel very much up in the clouds. Yes, another mermaid with this lovely young divine feminine quality. Sometimes it does feel like you're without clothes, so to speak, but in the mermaid I'm talking about, it's all pretense has dropped away, and the divine child who is far more innocent and less likely to be pretending or forgetting who they are. They're just being. They might play, but it's there's less of an ego constructed over the way they have to be. I mean, unless you're a 2-year-old, of course, and then it's always your way. But anyway, moving on. You know what I'm talking about, surely. We're talking about not having the sort of hard crust of who you are. You're allowing. It doesn't mean that you don't have a healthy sense of understanding of your needs. It's just allowing yourself to be present with not all these different filters going on of how life must be for you to be happy. It doesn't mean that you don't see the horrors in the world, but there's the ability to every so often just let everything go, let everything be. You do this in nature rather than in a traffic jam, but you could do it then. And you just let everything go, and you let everything be as it is. You drop all the constructs, and you're there with the health of life, the beauty of life. Beauty heals. This is why I tend to do this type of thing in nature. There's a lot of beauty in nature. So much goodness and kindness. And just like a child, you'd play and explore, look at the little flowers, run your hands through the grass, look at the insects, play with the leaves, be this closeness to life. The time just to enjoy nature. So you've got all these pictures of the feminine energy, just resting in nature, enjoying nature. Okay, so looking at a more modern image, there's a lovely lotus or lily pads, and the water on the right, and then on the left, maybe just coming home from a rave, but deeply enjoying the presence of the forest, letting go into the forest, being a nature sprite or a tree sprite, and feeling so close to the health of nature, the sanity of nature, that which is filled with life, that which protects life. Okay, so lovely, lovely image on the right. You can see the curiosity. It's very similar to the priestess energy in that there's this fascination, this looking. So in mindfulness, there can be this presence of participating. So there is an actual active quality to mindfulness, where you're poised. There's that curiosity. You wish to be present, checking how things are, checking in. And then on the left we have from the Sandman Death, the character Death, and who she was based on, which was a real human being. And this is allowing that divine feminine to be in all sorts of aspects. It just doesn't have to be one way. You have the divine feminine within you, and it will show itself to you in the way that it wishes to. Okay, so we've got love and rockets on the left, and we all have these qualities within us. These wonderful range of what divine feminine energy is. Some of us can remember more time to be, perhaps when we had less responsibility in life. Sometimes it's good just to remember, wow, I've been pushing for a long time. Maybe I just need to let go for a bit, just for a short moment. Eo Nymphus, salve te nova lux. So the principle of this meditation is to call in the new light. So you're saying to the Nymph's energy, the Nymphus energy, bring in the new light, bring in the new light, bring in the new understanding, bring in the wisdom that we need in the world right now. So it's calling it in. It's very beautiful, beautiful meditation. Bringing it home to New Zealand, we've got Lady Six there, the top left, showing a beautiful movement and energy, creativity, music, joy, strength. We've got Anika Moore in the bottom centre there, being a nature nymph. On the right, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So the Pentacles is the earth element. And you've got the goat's head there, which is fertility, earth. The beautiful, then you've got the pears, sensuality. and a beautiful rabbit at the front, sometimes a hare, and that's fertility. So it's Ostara, the goddess Ostara, and these beautiful red roses above, desire, shelter, refuge. And because I live in New Zealand, we're going to bring in some Lord of the Rings via Liv Tyler when she came to New Zealand to play this wonderful character, Elf. There we are, showing that radiant quality of that magical feminine energy within. There we are, we have Stevie Nicks, very creative, very wild. Lots of flowing fabrics, flowing energy, free, not constrained, constricted. And now we have Grace Jones to finish the Nymphus part. And that is just really that, because Grace Jones is Grace Jones. Again, this is a wonderful, strong, creative woman who is just totally deconstructed any barriers to living truth. Hail to the goddess Prudence, holder of mirror-like wisdom and a serpent. Serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo. You see ahead with clear discernment. Please teach me mirror-like wisdom to see things as they are with no discordance. And from that unity, please teach me when to act and when to stay still. Wed me to the truth. So the goddess Prudence, able to see things clearly with mirror-like wisdom. So the mirror is accurately seeing what is in front of them. So it's not a trick mirror, it's a mirror that shows you what is in front of it. The serpent is the rising energy within, is the freeing energy that is no longer caught up in tension and constructs. Serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo. So much love for the goddess Prudence, because she can show us a way with far less conflict, because often it is hard to see clearly what we need to do, the next step in our lives, and the goddess Prudence can help with that. You can ask, what is the next step in my life that I need to take? And she can help you. Serpens speculo, serpens speculo. And there she is, looking incredibly strong and radiant. Serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo. Serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo, serpens speculo. You can pause the recording whenever you wish and just sit going through the mantra serpent speculo, serpent serpent speculo, serpent speculo, serpent speculo. And when you wish, the veil can lower and you can breathe with this for a while. What does it feel when the veil lowers in life? And then this dissolves into a waterfall of silvery, life-giving nectar. This is emptying out, letting go, allowing the waters to wash you clean and allowing you to begin anew.